This here rig is a feller's 1968 Buick LeSabre 400 flavor. It had been parked off the road for nearly 3 decades. I think I found it in the field. I got it fired up and drove it home, but it's been sitting another 4, I think going on 5 years, because I've been looking for very specific NOS or OEM parts for this car. But enough is enough. This thing deserves to be on the road. So we're gonna take other BOPC parts and try to put this thing back together, mainly the fuel system, clean it up, do some maintenance, and if all goes well, in a day or two, we're gonna be bombing this boat down the back roads of Tennessee, having a blast. I guess we should probably wash it too. So a lot of you have probably seen the episode where I pulled this out of a field in western South Dakota and drove it home. And if you haven't, I'll put a link down there for you in the description. You can click on that and go check it out. But just a real quick synopsis of this rig here. This belonged to my very good friend Roger's parents. And I think it was his early 80s, somewhere around there. He was finally ready to let go of some things. And one was this Buick. This was his mama's car. But what makes this unique is even though it was his mama's car, his daddy is the one that went down to the dealership and ordered everything. And Roger, my friend, is a Buick fan. I'm a huge Buick fan myself, and so was his father. So he did some pretty cool options on this rig. Obviously, it's a no-post or a hardtop 4-door. It's the 400 model in a 4-door. There are a lot of cool things about this car that make it extremely unique and very rare. Now the 400 model had the 280 horsepower 350 instead of the base 230-ish horse, and it also had the super turbine 400 automagical transmission instead of the 300, which was actually a 2-speed. Kind of confusing there, but this thing had all of the snort and get up you could get in a rig back in the day, all of the awesome options inside. They added some extra trim on the outside and an 8-track player and just a really cool old car. But his dad was partial to pickups, and I can't remember, don't quote me, but I think one of the reasons they picked this rig up was the old timer had knee surgery and couldn't drive the 3 on the tree anymore, for a while anyway. And after that, the car just kind of sat. It's got 120,000 original verified miles. I want to get this car back on the road. It is beautiful. The styling of this thing, the interior. Well, let's just look really quick and then we got to get to work. You know, you have to admit, regardless of whatever make or model you enjoy or appreciate the most, there was something very special going on in the late 60s, early 70s with car styling. I don't think we're ever going to top it. For a 4-door, no post, this is about as unique and beautiful as you can get, in my personal opinion. You've got things like this dominant quarter panel, this fast aerodynamic looking sail panel and roofline, but if you get up front, it's pretty blocky, kind of chunky, but it still says luxury or elegance, in my opinion. And if you squint and close the other eye, one can be creative, use your imagination. You kind of see a Cutlass. And then if you shake your head violently and look out of the other eye, you can kind of see a Dodge Coronet. You know, it's like, I don't know, Buick just did so good. Love this inset or recess here. Of course, it's kind of got the flagship fender molding that started, you know, 40s, 50s. It's got some rust and rot in it. And there you see the LeSabre 400 badge. But overall, it's a solid car, and I'll show you underneath of it. The rear end is really cool looking. Could almost be the front of the car. But that's kind of the rig here. So here is Pillar, Buick Pontiac, Scotland, South Dakota. This is where it was ordered from and delivered to. And it stayed in South Dakota its entire life, namely Scotland. Was brought to western South Dakota, and then I picked it up. Last tagged 1993. Bear country is well, what you would think. They've got a bunch of animals and stuff you can drive through. Used to get a discount, I think, for running these things. I can't remember for sure. It's got a couple small boo-boos. It's been backed into some stuff, but spray foamage, approved. I put the tires and wheels on it, and I think there's some adapter-roonies under that. Inside, look at these door panels. Beautiful. Of course, you got the rear ashtrays. I don't know if his parents smoked or not. There's the air filtration system. Rear deck lid's been pretty much gone. Oof, the smell in here. Let's start working on that. Here's one of the many things I love about this car. Much like Betty White the Cadillac. Wow. Ugh. Got some work to do there. Look at this. Isn't that great? Same awesome door panel. Look at the seat pattern. I reupholstered this before I left on the trip. Oh, look at the steering wheel. This has a speed alarm in it. So you can swing this other thing over there and it'll start buzzing once you hit it. They added the 8-track. I left that in it, of course. It's got the Sonomatic radio. The dash is just gorgeous in this. Headliner's still intact. Just a beautiful, beautiful car. I gotta get some juice on the kicker. It is not operating. We gotta get a vacuum in here and start rust treating. When I parked this, the floors were solid, but obviously we've got some rust around the fenders and everything like that. South Dakota salted everything, and unfortunately it's just got into a lot of these older rigs. But anyway, so that's an overview of the rig. Where we need to focus our attention is the fuel system, and I'll lift this up and I'll show you why. Even though the body's, well, it's got some scratches in here, some swirl marks back here, but although the frame is actually very, very solid, it has not been compromised in any way. Look at that little drive shaft and the unique joint. Anti-vibration, comfort, and luxury. Anyway, Senhoos, this is the situation. Clearly expertly installed. This also has a warranty. You can tell by, well, just how it is, basically. But this is empty, which is why the car got parked up. Not fun to fill. You have to drop the whole apparatus and all that. Looks like I did wire wheel this and rubber undercoat it before I put that tank up there, of course, because we keep everything really professional around here. So let's get all this garbly gook out of here, clean all this up again, and see if we can fit in a tank to a different Buick. It's probably going to have a different neck, and see if we can come up with something. I really want to get this on the road. Now, what you're thinking? What's the big deal here, Derek? I just went on the interwebs and I found 42 gas tanks for this. Well, it's not the right one. And I will bet you my hose clamp collection it's not, actually. See, the 68 and the 400 model had a different fuel tank. It wasn't the suitcase tank that all Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Cadillac had. Instead of being more of a rectangle shape, well, it was a rectangle, but instead of being, you know, driver's side to passenger side, it was this way. So the length went forward, and then it had a short neck. And all the tanks you're going to find for this rig, other than like the what is it called, a GM61A or something like that, are a long neck with the wrong shape and strap. And I've been trying really hard to find the original tank for this car just because I wanted to do this car at least an ounce of justice after it sat in the field for 3 decades. But I'm sitting here watching this thing fall into the earth. We're just gonna have to try to make something work. So let's get this out. I've got a couple different tanks here. We'll see which one fits the best. We'll just go from there. There's my good ratchet strap. That's the long one. Huh. Guy really spun up a pretty elaborate web of aeronautical ties in here. Oh, okay. These are the big ones too. I did put a few miles on this rig once we got her back home, but that was, I think, only 2 tanks. This is a boat tank. Just because you had to undo all of this, fill it, chest press it, get it back up in here, tie it down again, and I said enough. I love driving the car, but that's too much. Also, I think I started having brake issues. Listen, I know that's weird. I'm just now remembering where the brakes were sticking or soft or something with the brakes. I can't remember. Nice, I already cleaned this up and treated the floor because I was going to do that. I do not like, listen, we'll cut corners around here. We cut so many corners, I don't even know if we do any 90s. But listen, I don't like putting tanks up on a bare floor or rusty floor or whatever else, because the likelihood that tank's coming down again is next to none, and all you're doing is rotting the thing from the bottom up. Can I just slide this out now? Ha! Look at that. Boy, the dirt divers really got in here, didn't they? They did. They did. Got to put up my good ratchet strap. Okay. Looks like we got a fill tray in here. There we go. Boat tank removed. I need this actually. So we got the old stabilizers up in here. I don't think we're going to be able to reuse these because it's for the original tank, which again is more elongated this way. But we're going to juice these studs up because I don't want to twist those out of the trunk floor, because then we'll be coming up with something ourselves. And I'd rather use the ridge. I got 2 different strap styles and 2 different tanks, but one I think is more of an A-body tank that's set up for fuel injection, so I don't know if that's really going to help us any. Let's see. So I think a guy's just going to get these straps out first, and then we'll take our tank, which is to a 71 Buick Riviera, and pin that up there with some pole jacks, and then we'll start playing with the straps because we'll have 3 different flavors to see which one's going to do the deal, and if need be, plumber's tape. Well, I do got some of those Megan zip ties. I don't know, we'll figure it out. So this here is the tank, and it's about as close as I can get to the original shape as possible. Looks like it did take a schmucker in shipping. I'm gonna have to seal that up. But anywho's, let's put a sending unit in this and get this up into the car. Made in Canada. Oh yeah, this is the GM61A. So these are the 2 pickups or senders that a guy bought. You never really know what you're getting off the interwebs. This one is Henko and Mexico, and looks pretty good. This one's made in Taiwan, and these are the socks that I don't like. They plug really easy, and the depth is not the same as this one. The Mexico one is a little bit deeper, which I think I'm going to use. And these tangs line up a whole lot better than this one. So this one I'm going to return. We'll set that aside. We'll get this one locked in. Pull it up here. Slide the rubber O-ring in. It sits in the tank there. I always like to use the kit that comes with the tank as opposed to the one that comes with the sender, because you just, guy never knows. Okay, now slide this up here, and we're going to use a chisel. Not that we're chiseling, just because of the broad surface. And we'll bring her around. Just bring it this way. Lock it down. Bring it in. That looks pretty seated. Seat this way. There we go. Be nice if we even got a fuel gauge working. I know I said it. I'm just being optimistic. Shut the heater off for a minute. Now I could feel my face. That's pretty neat. Hips. Okay, we get some pole jacks. This is going to get interesting. Okay. Let's see. Come in here. Yeah. Yeah. What is this saying? Oh, this is saying, Derek, I might be able to help you. Ha! That's what this is saying. What's the spout saying? The spout is saying, you could put fuel in here, if you wanted to. I'll be damned. By golly, I think this might actually work. Well, we're going to say test fit completed. 32.43% anyway. Close enough. Good enough for who it's for. We're going to bring it back down. We got to hook up the sending unit line, sending unit ground, and then we've got to send and receive on the fuel system as well. Whatever fuel the fuel pump, or essentially the engine, doesn't use, the pump just sends it right back to the tank and dumps it back into here. So we got to get all that hooked up. I'm going to put a new filter in place as well, and then we'll do this again, but put both straps on, suck it up into the trunk area. We've got a fuel tank on the 68 LeSabre. I'm excited. Okay, wiring favorite. Let's do it. So this is the return line here, and there's plenty of slack on this guy. I can get him way down. That'll, whoop, right there. This is the feed. I'm going to shorten that up so I can get a filter up in here, and then we'll put a new chunk going up to the tank here. The fuel tank is successfully in, and all of the connections are had. We've got a new feed line with the filter up there. Return line's plugged in. This is the ground. Got some fresh metal, a washer on that. Had to extend the sending unit line Got that plugged in. Used one of those rinky-dinky Ford connectors, kind of the push-on connectors that only work 5% of the time, and squeeze it down with the plier and push that on. So hopefully that's going to hang in there. It's good to see a tank back in this thing. So now that we got a fuel tank in this thing, obviously we're closer to trying to get this thing fired up again after 4 or 5 years. But I want to change the oil first. And the oil in it isn't bad because of age, and definitely not because of miles. We have the trip home from western South Dakota on it, and that's pretty much it, and maybe 50, 60 miles around here. But it had sat almost 30 years previous to that, so I'm hoping a lot of that old sludge and everything came down into the pan, and we're gonna drain it for that reason, try to get a bunch of that gunk out and put some fresh oil back in it again. But before we do that, let's lower it to the ground, because as you guys know, every good project starts with the battery on boil. I'm sure this thing's deader than a doorknob, so let's yank it out, put some juice on that, we'll lift it back up, change the oil, might even take a peek at the rear end, do some stuff like that while we're waiting for that battery to come back to life. Coming down by one! Oh yeah, it's just me. Oops. Let's see if I remember how to open the hood on this outfit. Boop! No, that's definitely not it. It's right down here. Oh, wow. Whoa, looks like it's been sitting 40 years, not 4. All the insulation fell. Mice have been in here big time. Well, anywho's. Wow. Are we sure we want to work on? Yeah, we got to work on this one. Let me get the trash can. Ba-da-ba-dee, ba-da-da-doo-da-ba-boop. There we go. I really should have put that air cleaner on, which is sitting in the back seat. I'm not sure what happened there. That was uncharacteristic of a guy. You really want to breathe this fiberglass in and the mouse droppings. It's good for you. Wow, we put a lightning whirler cap in, hoses. Throttle isn't locked up. Wonder if I should run the vacuum through here quick. It's pretty tasty, to be honest. Yeah! Get this battery out. Oh, we got some more work to do down in there. Well, the guys got it pretty cleaned up again, and I'm just remembering all the work we did to this. We even put a water pump in it, some other stuff. Battery box is getting pretty bad. I'm going to spray this down with some rust treatment and get some color on it just to try to slow that down. It's not going to fix it, but can we slow it? I think so. I mean, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? And then we got the battery out. That's over here. Yeah, look at that, July of 20. We'll start boiling that. And we'll get this car up and we'll change the oil, which should be fairly fresh, but like I said, the hope is there's a bunch of gunk in the bottom of the pan. Oh, wow, look at that, and it's over full. So she probably took a little moisture sitting. So let's get that fixed. Yeah, I'm really surprised how many people don't know how to operate a battery charger correctly. My grandpa taught me. Of course, everything needed a charger. It's pretty simple. You just put it on boost mode, and then you walk away for about 3 days. You either want to smell this from the house or hear it boiling from about 120 yards. And that's when you know she's ready to go. This stuff should help slow it down just a tickle in here. This will eat for a while and turn black when it's finished. So when this is black, we'll come in with probably just some rebuild black rattle can and touch it up just a little bit so it just has something, you know. It's pretty remarkable how good the floors are in here, despite the exterior metal being kind of shot. All of this is really solid. Original floor paint even. A little bit up in here. Pretty wild. So any who's and way, let's go ahead and drop the oil. You can see a newer wicks on here, but we're going to change that as well. Hopefully that caught a bunch of junk and get this refreshed. Boy, I smoked that in there, didn't I? How full is this can? We might be over full. I'm going to find out here real quick like. Yep. No chunks, but it is dirty. It was time. I should check on this. Oh boy. She's a pretty full. Well, just wait. Walk away. Just don't watch. Guy likes to spritz his drain plug down, brake clean. And the tool, you know, it's 7/8, but I keep them clean. Oil filter, buy one! Yeah, still just me, okay. How much did I smoke this on? All of it is the answer. Gotta stop putting JV Weld on the filters. Ow! Derek. What? Were you having a bad day or something? Oh, now we got no option. It's got a hole in it. Great. Grand. Wrench change. What will this one say? Oh, just bending. I must have not have lubed up the O-ring enough laying in the grass there when I changed this. Convenient location, but messy. There we go. Can't really put oil back in them because it's sideways, unfortunately. Write the date and the miles on these, for Pete's sake, so we know what in the world is going on around here. I'm going to give this one a little bit less horsepower for no particular reason. Just kind of thinking maybe it doesn't need to be that tight. Okay, and then up around the ring, get this frame, or whatever this is. Yeah, that's the frame, right? Must be. I can't stand a dripping vehicle. I can't. We got rags, speaking of that. Hard for a guy to keep these in stock. There we go. All right, let's drop it down and throw something in. No idea what I got in stock, but I'm sure it's going to rhyme with 1540 or O'Reilly brand. Maybe Valvoline. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what we got in the cabinet. Clamming around in the dark, getting low on everything after the swap meet. We pretty much got rid of it all. Ha ha! Yeah, that seems pretty full. 1540, 530, not right. That's hydraulic. Yeah, let's go with the old heavy duty diesel oil. I think I took a few oh yeah. So we're gonna need a little bit more, but this will get us started anyway. This has got a lot of zinc and phosphorus in it right out the bottle. No longer the T5 or T6, but the T4 still has it. Oh, I just felt Caprice jump in the car. That's good. I left the doors open. So if there's any mice in here, I'd sure like to get them right away rather than run around in here. Not a lot of interior left in this shop. But I do have my grandpa's truck and my dad's Buick in here. Would really like to keep the mice out of them. So, ooh, looks like we're ready to rebuild down there too. What's the closest rebuild spray I got? I got some coating. There we go. It ain't right, it ain't perfect, but it's good enough. There we go. Well, I think we got about as far as we can tonight without a lightning cube. It's over there just getting ready to boil. Still don't hear it or smell it yet, so it's not quite ready. We'll let the shop lions do some hunting tonight and shut her down for now. In the morning, we'll throw that back in, go through a couple more things, throw some fresh fuel on that new tank, and hopefully get this thing fired up and running for the first time in 4 or 5 years. We'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning. Back on the LeSabre. As you can hear, guys, got the heater plugged in. About 30 degrees this morning. Pretty warm, but maybe 10 more degrees wouldn't hurt a guy. Jessica washed my flannel last night. It's already going to be a really good day. Coffee cup check-in. Coffee make brain work gooder. Indeed. Indeed it does. I'm going to go check on the battery. I kind of smell it. So it's probably about ready. We're going to see if we get this thing fired up today. And see if the temp rises so we can wash it. Otherwise, it's just going to freeze shut. We're going to be skating around in an ice cube. That wouldn't be good. Woo! She's hot. Ready to go. Ready to go. Just kind of farting around, waiting for it to heat up in here. I forgot how good this trunk is. Look at this. Original spare. Well, maybe not original, but very old. Phillips 66. Bias ply. Original jack, base, and handle. Trunk mat still in it. How cool is that? Looks great. I thought this would be full of parts and junk, but I stand corrected. And I'm going to get the shop back really quick and just get all this out of here. Trees are great for shade and keeping some of the sunburn off and hail damage and stuff like that. But this kills cars, admittedly, is when this gets into compost after years and years and years, it starts rotting these rails out. Not good for them. Ugh. Yeah. I need to do this up front too, the cow. Good kindling. Should start a fire. There we go. Original jack sticker in here still. Don't see that often. You don't. You just don't. Yep, eviction notice. Lots of egg sacks up there. More sacks than Ray Lewis. Eviction notice. Please vacuum, don't light on fire. Nice. Relocating. I wonder if you could play lumberjack with a vacuum. Now that would be cool. Yep. Uh-huh. Yep. Uh-huh. Sure. I'll some more to because. Okay. I think Jessica put a little something extra in my coffee this morning. I like it. I do. Well, might as well keep whirling this mouse sucker around. Uh-oh. Got a kink in this vacuum hose. Might have to run a hose clamp or something around it. Keep that more open. Duct tape. No idea what that was about. Patching the floor, maybe? Sounds about right. I got this pretty clean previously. It's not terrible. There's that little rust hole over here. Gotta get that rust stopped in here. Soak her down a little bit. Come on, chew on it. Chew! There we go. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Well, since the guy is and will be farting around under the hood for a while, I'm gonna put a little bit of leather cleaner down, vinyl leather cleaner, and just let it chew, soak. Boy, is there some sort of secret to this? I ain't trying to shave. I guess I gotta smear it around. This is not going as planned. Is it too cold, maybe? No, doesn't help. I got melted ice cream. Well, anyway, we'll let that sit. Looking better. Not perfect, but guy doesn't get the heebie-jeebies. We'll keep scrubbing on it here and there when time allows, you know. Yep. All right, we'll snag in this cube. Yep. We got to start thinking about maybe firing up this AC compressor. Everything's in here still. I know, right? Okay. And juice. Anything happen? Nothing. No sizzlings. It's probably a good thing. Need to check the oil. We might need to add one more quart because I couldn't fill the fill tray up there. We've got domage. I'll be dipped. Let's pull the dinosaur stick out of here. Yep. Oh, I need a ragu. These box of rags are just like my socks. They're laid out everywhere. Okay, so now, what's it say? Yeah, we can put one more quart in because the other one's going to get sucked into the fill tray. Let me go get, what do we have over there? O'Reilly brand or something? Drink up, little buddy. Okay. Yep. Sure. How much we're going to go here. Just kind of going by feels. I guess there is a gauge on the side. No, not on this one. Oh, there is. Where's that? Yeah, we're probably there. Just a good measure chef's kiss. There we go. Theodore Roosevelt, what are you doing? Yeah? You ate all your treats. And you did what? Okay, oil should be good. But what I am going to do here, we still don't have any gasoline in the new tank, and the fuel make it happener is not primed because I want to build oil pressure before we fire this off. So I'm just going to lean in, crank this thing over a little bit. It shouldn't be stuck. Hasn't been sitting that long. Ugh. Aha, the key buzzer still works. Gas gauge might work. Drop to E. Ooh. It does not want to crank over. Uh-oh. Still haven't juiced that door either. That's not good. Can't be the battery, can it? Let me put a jump box on it just in case. Give her a little extra tickle. We just charged it. Well, I know, but maybe it's not charged now all of a sudden. Well, that doesn't seem to make sense. Well, I'm just saying, we're not going to state the obvious and we're going to pretend it's something else. Fine, whatever. Waste some time. So many cords on this thing. What is happening? That's dying. I never got a battery in nothing. Okay. On. Go. How do you start this? Okay, let's try that. There we go. Ooh, she was just a little tight there. That's not good. Poor starter. Should hopefully be building oil pressure. Okay, that was a little kind of a pucker moment. It didn't want to crank. Threw some extra juice at it. Remember, that was at 13 volts, that lightning cube. And it just slowly started going. So it was, she was actually a little tight from sitting. That's, but they're just like Chevrolets, these Buicks. It's, I don't want to, fine. Fires up. Okay, I'm gonna put the charger back on this bad boy. If I was smart, I'd just go get a super start, but they're not getting any cheaper. I'll tell you that. A good project starts on boil. Okay, let's see. That. Get my cord that runs my microwave, because I can't use the other breaker because it'll pop. Okay. Microwavage. Yeah, 12.2 volts. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That ain't good. All right, never the easiest to put fuel in these. Now we sit here for 12 hours. If we can get 5 gallons in, get it running, then I can get it over to the tank and put in some 2-year-old 87. It'll be fine on that. Are you hanging out right there, Theo? Yeah? Oh, backflip, nice. I wonder if we shouldn't just change that lightning cube. You know, they might say they're charged. It doesn't mean they got the juice. The amperes, the science in there to shoot lightning. I should also clean those clamps. I'll clean the clamps, and then if I need to, I can pull the battery out of Remington, because that's the closest vehicle that currently isn't doing anything. And then we'll give that a shot. That's a battery from Fleet Farm, and well, it's been sitting outside for 4 or 5 years, so nice that the fuel gauge worked. No reason it shouldn't, I guess. Well, the gauge in the dash, Derek, I understand, but I'm saying the sender's new, and I just put a fitting on it. Doesn't mean the wire is correct all the way up there. Well, first of all, it's on the inside of the car, not the outside. Second of all, how often does that get eaten? Well, you never know, Derek. They're already eating the carpet. That's true. Let's just hope the gauge is good. Well, that's what I started with. All right, fuel gauge check. It still goes to empty, but it's a little bit above. We have to remember we may not have enough fuel in it because we're just using random, oh hey bud, random pickup tubies. And the fuel might not be hitting that in the tank. Theo's visiting again. The other thing that's not good is the battery charger's on right now. And I just hit the starter again. No bueno. So I think I am going to swap a battery in if I could find one. I might just run in and get a new one for this because I'm just going to have to get a new one for Remington anyway. And I can't find my battery post cleaner, believe it or not. It's in a go bag somewhere. And then we'll try to fire this up when I get back. Well, the guy's back. Here I am. Okay. So, O'Reilly is probably not going to be happy. I'm going to tell you this, but I want to save you money first and foremost. When you get a battery for your rig, they're going to bring out a nice premium. Maybe even the extreme. Or the platinum agonums. You say, give me one of them economies. See, they don't put them on the shelf, but they got them. They're in the back shelf. And this will save you a bunch. That's what we're going to throw on this guy. 24 Eco. Ooh, before I do that, got to clean the posts up. Got a new scratcher. Well, how do you open it? Oh, just gently pull. Okay, pretty good. Well, you want to breathe in that battery acid. Oh, this one really hit ya. Okay. Now, we'll toss this bad boy in. There we go. Rehookalize our connections. Try this whole process again. I wonder if I should, I'm going to throw the charger on here just to use it as a voltmeter. What do we got? What's it saying? 12.5, right out the box. That's good. Now let's give her a twirl. Much better. Much better. Okay. Now we gotta prime the fuel system. It's gonna be a lot easier if we fill the fuel make it happener and bark it off of that. Obviously it's gonna run faster than just cranking it, which means it's gonna force the mechanical fuel pump to draw fuel faster from the tank, thus completing the whole circuitry. So let me get some false fuel, or maybe true. I know I got some around here somewhere. We'll fill that up. I get asked a lot why I use two-stroke fuel. It's a little more expensive buying it in a can, I gotta be honest, but it's pre-mixed, it's handy, it's ready to go. I don't have to carry around plastic doodabbers and all this stuff. And there is a benefit to running a little bit of oil in your fuel when you're waking up these old rigs. The worst thing that you can do, scientifically and mechanically, is spray this thing down with brake clean or carb clean or starter fluid. Stop. You're not doing yourself any favors. This here is going to lubricate the needle and seat, all of the seals and the fuel making happener. It's going to lubricate the valve seats, the rings, the top end, everything. If it doesn't start, we're not just washing the cylinder walls down. If it does try to start, we're not just banging this thing with ultra flammable fuel. What if we didn't know what the timing was or something like that? You could create a lot of problems if you're not careful. Let's see if that'll bark off. This door is much better greased. Well, where's the key at in this thing? Oh yeah, she's gonna run. Oh, valve train is not happy. Come on, oil pressure, come on. Come on, oil pressure. There we go. Still not pulling fuel from the tank. It's alive, but it is not happy. It is a fresh fuel system, but I was hoping to see it something. I might have to put a little bit more fuel in, like I was saying earlier. The pickup tube might not be submerged yet. Bugs scattering everywhere in here. Let's try it again. Yep. Oil light went off. That's good, it's building pressure. Come on, full fuel. Now we might need more. Boy, it is not happy right now. It needs to come around. It's been sitting. It's been sitting. I got a filter down here, right off the main line that's running to the tank. We have no visibility on fuelage. So, I'm going to jump on the 4-liter, fly over to the tank, get some stale gas, put some more in the back, and then we'll try this whole process again. Was adding some more fuel here, by the way, T800. Look at the mouse nest that came flying out of this thing. It was a big one. That muffler is packed. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Muffler fires are not a good thing, and they happen when mice get in there and do this. They can haul twigs, old dry acorns, stuff like that. And it gets hot enough, obviously, we get a fire. So we gotta keep an eye on that. So now in the cockpit here, we are seeing a quarter tank. So if the float is floating, we know the pickup is also submerged. So that's great news. Okay, now that we got something measuring on the petrol stick, she's primed, let's try it again. The mice have been evicted as well. And give her a couple shots of fuel. Oh, that was weird. Come on. Come on, girl. Well, what is going on here? Well, I need to call a mechanic for Pete's sake. This light ain't lighting nothing. I got no pump shot. I got insulation stuck in the fuel, make it happener. You don't want that in your Venturi. Are we pulling fuel from the tank yet? No. Well, here's the dealio on the dealo, and this is between you, me, and everybody. I ain't getting fuel up to the pumpalizer. The diaphragm could be dry in that pump, but before we get that far, let's start at the tank and go forward. New tank, new sending unit, new line to the filter tray in the back. Let's lift it up in the air, see if we can suck fuel or blow air to the pump and at least eliminate that section, and then we'll kind of work our way through it here. Sometimes you think it's going to be easy pulling these old rigs out that you've already got running, but here's a great example. This thing is just fighting us, tooth and foot. This guy's going to 86 this from the pump right here, which looks like I put in new. There we go. Now, I wonder, there we go. Nothing but fumes. I think I'm just starting to get fuel on the back filter. There we go. Okay. That should be pretty primed now. Clamp back on. We'll lower it down. Fill the bowl again and crank it, and hopefully this time the pump will pick it up. Suck that fuel from the tank. Up to the fuel, make it happen now. Boy, that gas. It really is like 85, not 87. I know the problem. Might have to go get Bentley to re-yell, bring the thunder. What was he, 8 years old? 7 years old? Bringing the thunder! Come on. There we go. Come on. Come on, LeSabre. Come on. There we go. There we go. Come on. Pump fuel. You need to pump fuel. I think it's trying. There we go. It just started pumping fuel. So theoretically, it should sit here and run now. Let's stay. I don't know where everyone is going to. If everyone lets go, wouldn't it be full by now? So I vote let's stay. It's running. It's rough, but it's alive. It'll take a little bit to come back around again. I cleaned up the old mouse house. Don't see any new. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come on, hang in there. Oh no. Come on. Come on. Come on. Boy, it is really unhappy. trying to baby it. It doesn't want to do much other than idle. There we go. Come on. It's trying. Aren't these dials cool? Everything is a dial. Come on. Oh boy. Gonna have to sit here and work on it for a while. Well, I believe we've got a plugged muffler. Obviously we have evidence of that already, but I went through this quadribog before, and it's only been sitting again not that long, just a handful of years. And it's just not wanting to run. This is an air pump, air in, air out. If we can't get air out, it's not going to want to do anything more than idle, which is about where we're at. Did have a small vacuum leak fixed out with the vacuum cap, but I'm not seeing anything else completely obvious. Quadribogs are a really good carburetor actually, and they sit well. So I believe it's the muffler. I also had just a really big backfire. Might have popped the muffler. Let's get it up, cut that off, and see if that helps our situation. If it doesn't, then we'll come back to the air fuel system here and see if we can figure something out with something I got in stock. Well, if you're squeamish or you got kids watching, cover them eyeballs. We got some stuff here. Confirmed muffler explosion. We got a little dude there. Got another one hanging out down there, and accidentally stepped on this one. Didn't quite see it, but so this thing is completely chock full of a mouse apartment, apparently. More stuff came out. I just cleaned this up. So that's probably going to be the issue. I'm going to get a Sawzall out and just, well, we'll probably whack it off back here actually. It'll make it easier trying to do something on it later. Well, let me take the clamp off first to see if I can work it off of that. Well, the guy is confident that every muffler I'm going to have laying around is going to be 3-inch. So we might have to run to the store. I don't mind a little tone on a rig, but the LeSabre should be straight piped, you know, because of excellence and engineering and all the other reasons. For heaven's sake. Go. It's hot, like it's been on fire. Sure, she probably ain't gonna want to twist a light. Need you to come down now, Bill. That's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. Try to cut a relief on this sleeve. Hammer time! Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. The old Tanya Hardin 200. Nothing. It says nothing to us. Uh-oh. That's not good. Not much I can do, Billy. Not much. Oh, that's off. There that is. Okay. Now we get the sleeve off. We ain't got no muffler system. It's just jangling. Uh-oh. This bad boy's seen better days. Who knows? That might be the original muffler. Okay, so up in the rig here, I got this tightened up so that won't leak, first and foremost, but now it's up against the body. I do not have any 2 1/4 mufflers, just like I thought. Everything is 3" around here. So I'm gonna run into town and see if I can find something just so it's not straight piped. And I know what you're thinking. And I am feeling okay. Everything is fine. Don't send the authorities. I didn't knock twice. Listen, straight pipes are great, but not on a Nissan or a Honda or a Buick. Okay? Okay. Well, the guy's back. The beeping, don't worry about that. That's just the carbon monoxide detector. It'll air out in a minute. Look what I found. So we've got a 2.5" OD to a 3" ID. This could get us to a muffler that I've got in stock, which would save us a tremendous amount of money. I've got a small pipe expander. It slides in the pipe and you crank it with a wrench and expands it a little bit. Gonna see if I can find that. The other thing that we have to do is stretch the muffler to get over this. So basically we'll have pipe, adapteroonie, stretched into a muffler. If all goes well, $4.27 is a lot cheaper than a new muffler. So let's fart around. We'll dig out the blue bullet, see what happens. By the way, who makes this? Nixon? I don't think I've seen this brand before at O'Reilly, but the old blue bullet won't expand this nice. They've got a really nice jig. It's probably a double coupler. Mine will split this and the fingers will start to show, but nice little adapteroonie thing there. Let's see what we can do. We'll plug this old boy in, see if it'll give us a little more help. Okay, let's see. Oh, well, we got up to 384 parts per million. That's pretty good. She's quiet now, though. So we're gonna go this way, so throw this on here. Give her a bump. Ha! Nailed it. Oh, alarm's back. That's looking pretty good. We'll probably leave this right here because we're going to weld on it, most likely. There you go. Alright. Got gasoline, trash bags to light on fire. We're ready to party. Alright, we'll weld this up quick. She's hot. We're way too hot. Wow. What was I welding last? She's hot. She's still too hot. Wow. What was I welding last? Well, I found out why these adapters are so cheap. They're made of silk, not metal. Okay, I get it. If I get woozy, I'll let you know. Holy smokehouse. Okay, we got one more piece we got to fan dangle on here. We might as well do that now while the welder's hot. Yep! Good enough for who it's for. Oh, the carbon alarm finally went off. That's weird. Must be good now. Okay. Got the old pipe kind of sort of cleaned up. See if we could stick it on here. Gonna be laying some bubble gum. Tell you that much. Nothing like welding old rusty pipe. No, there is. It's called torture. Oh, okay. Well, this is going exactly as planned. Terrible. Trying to weld the old rusty pipe. Never fun, never easy. I mean, it's sure, whatever. Okay, now we got to put a hanger up on here to hold this into place so it's not just loosey-goosey bouncing around like that. So a guy's going to take this hanger, bolt around right there. There's already a hole there. And then we'll zip this on, get it leveled up, heat it, bring it around, cut it off. Hanger and tip on. Well, we'll give her another go now. Exhaust is complete. Should be able to breathe. There we go. Sounds way better. Like it's breathing. Still hasn't resolved our issue. Still running poor. Okay, we got one issue taken care of. On to the next. Ignition. Well, the guy's gonna have to start playing around in the white motor here. We're gonna take the old awning off and take a look underneath. Yes, this is all new, but she's been sitting. Part of the process. Not a single screwdriver in my entire shop. Okay. Going to try to get down to the points here. And we're probably going to find some buildup. Can't see nothing. It's the new style. With the condenser on it. So unfortunately, really see much. I don't even think I can get a file in there. That's silly. We're gonna have to take them out. Really ain't much we can do here. These small little points or contacts are a critical piece of the ignition system, albeit small and fragile. There's some buildup, but not as much as I thought I would see. It's getting real serious out when a guy gets the old digital meter. Tested this off the battery just to make sure that this thing works. I've had this since 2004. Still hanging in there. And then I tested voltage right here at the points. We're good there. And if you watch close, way down in here, see that sparking? We're kind of running out of boxes to tick here. A little nervous that the fuel making happener might not be making it happen. Started easier, but it's still not running the best. Come on. Yeah, gonna call it. We're gonna kill the starter. Okay, do I got a Quadribog rebuild kit? No. Do we have options? Maybe. Let me get on the interweb, see how fast I can get a kit, or maybe we could just find a fuel make it happen or an Edelbroken or a Holly or something. Do some swapperoonies. I think that's what we're down to. We've solved a couple problems today. Wow, this thing's been fighting us for just sitting a couple of years, but it's worth it. This car is going to be great. That's going to do it for tonight. We'll see you guys in the morning. Well, good morning. Tell you what, fellers and fellas, sometimes you just got to take a step back from a project. And that's what I did last night, and I got to pondering and had an epiphanies. I remembered, and I know it sounds kind of sad, but listen, I'm working on 2-3 cars a week, every week, all year round. So stuff like this just floats off into the atmosphere. But when I was driving this home, we had the original tank in it, and it was so full of rust and rot and debris and everything else. And this filter is what reminded me of that, is I was changing that like every, I don't remember, 50, 60 miles sometimes on just off ramps and rest stops and you name it. And that's why the tank was taken out. And it was too bad to fix. And that's how this whole thing started. Well, anyways, the Quadribog never came off. It got all full of that sediment and junk, and then went and sat in the trees for 4 or 5 years. And as the fuel evaporated, everything that was left turned into a solid material. We just injected new fuel, everything gets stirred. Look, the carb's plugged up, the jets are plugged, everything plugged. And I went, oh, It's hard to find rebuild kits for a Quadrajet anymore unless you plan ahead and order ahead, which we don't do that around here, ain't got time. But I did find this one full of water and looks like fire ants in the floorboard of a square body I got a while back. And it looks Quadrajet-ish. So I think we're gonna gamble, roll the dice that I don't have, and yank this off. Oh, I left my meter on all night. And try to rebuild that really quick. We'll do a tailgate rebuild somewhere, or find a table or whatever. See if that is in fact the issue, which I'm 99.4% sure, and then throw it back on. We've already eliminated the plugged exhaust. We need to get the air fuel mixture right. Boom, this thing should take off. So let's jump right in, yank this off, and get to, I can't call it rebuilding, refreshing? Refreshing. First impressions here, we can see we got this side is open, some fresh fuel has been moving through there. This side down in there completely plugged. Now if we move over to the car, we can see cast clean, fuel has been getting through there. No. So that's our issue, is she was basically running on one bank. One's plugged, the other one wasn't. Just enough to get this thing running. So we'll go ahead and clean this thing up. It actually looks better than I thought it would. I am pulling stink bugs, and there's shells and all sorts of stuff out of here. But we'll get all that taken care of. Fuel Make It Happener is back on, and while we had that off, I cleaned up the intake a little bit and then rebuilt it. New intake gaskets, valve covers. I kind of just misted in some red and then hit it right away with the air, and see how it made it flat and kind of just blended it in a little bit, but gave it just a little pop of color. This is still drying. That'll end up being matte or satin. Kind of did the same with the air filtration system. There's a new filter in there that I must have put on. Gonna wait for that to dry and we'll try to fire it up. While that was drying, unboxed those floor mats I had made. Those look nice in here, and they're front and rear. Wiped down the rear seat, the rear door panels, kind of went over some stuff. It's really soaking in that treatment. This used to be really crispy, but it's getting some pliability back, see? So I'll probably hit it again here, but hopefully this thing will fire up and idle. However, that being said, a guy did not see a smoking gun inside that Fuel Make It Happener. Now don't get me wrong, it was dirty. The jets, one of the jets was plugged. It wasn't in the best shape, but there wasn't just a smoking gun saying, aha, this is the issue. Nonetheless, it's going to be way better than it was, and it should at least get us started down the right path of getting this thing running great like it was when we first got it fired up. Hopefully any minute. We'll see. All right, let's give her a crank with the rebuilt carburetor. Oh, set the choke. All right. Well, that sounds like a new issue. It's almost like it's losing power when I turn the key off a crank. Yeah. What is that about? Huh. Come on. Come on. There, it's getting better. Had to pump fuel, fill the carb. Okay. Well, it's alive. Not very impressed with the results yet. Might have something electrical going on or a coil failing. It almost sounded like there for a minute. Had voltage at crank. When he let off, it killed it. Not the case, obviously, unless it was very intermittent. But I'm starting to suspect there's also some ignition issues going on here. We'll let it warm up a little bit. This is the most it's ran in quite a while. And then we'll start the diagnosis in. And you know I'm going to charge myself $6.50 an hour. Easy. Guy adjusted the points a little bit. Just slide up that window and it's starting to smooth out. Sounding a lot better anyway. Guy's gonna let it just sit here and run for a while. Let the rings and everything come back around. It's been a minute. Butter power steering. We got about a quarter tank of fuel. Now it's running really, really good. Adjusted the air fuel mixture on idle circuit, brought down the idle a little bit, made a very small adjustment to timing, and now it's sounding really nice. Very smooth, not missing at all. It's running very good. Well, a guy made the mistake of hitting the brake pedal, and you know what happened. So, Jessica jumped up in the cab there. She's up in the air, and we're going to try to bleed these out real quick. See what happens. I got some juice in them. Let's do 10 times and hold, please. Go ahead. Oh, wow. Definitely got air. Okay, go again. A lot more air. Okay, again. Well, we're going to do this for a while. Check in with you soon. Issue number 13. We've been pumping on the brakes here, and we're getting juice out of the pot there to the front, but we are not getting that out of the rear. And it's going to be one of two things, really. The master cylinder is bad, which that still has a sticker on it from being brand new. believe it or not, that was new when I drove this home. The other is a distribution valve back there, right down in there. Those can commonly get locked into emergency mode or when it flips your brake light on. And there's a shuttle in there that's going to slide and basically shut off fluid to the front or the rear depending on where the pressure loss is, so you have enough brakes to try to slow down. Most people say once. I've driven a vehicle like that thousands of miles. Not recommended. Okay, so what we're going to try to do is pull out that little guy right there. I got a spider bite. It's not looking good. Which hooks to this, and that's what actually illuminates the light in the dash. Once I get that out, there's a tool, a centering pin, that I can put into that. That is this guy. So that switch looks exactly the same, except this is a contact essentially. And when that shuttle slides and makes contact, that's what turns the light on. It's a normally open contact essentially. This pin that's solid, it's belay, holds that shuttle securely into place so it can't rack around when we're trying to bleed the brakes. So let's give that a shot. Wrestling, trying to get this sensor doodabber out of here. Not a lot of room down there. Not a lot indeed. Let's see. Am I grabbing it? I don't think I am. What is this? I don't know what I'm doing. That's the problem. Just showing this in case you haven't seen one of these. So this is what's plugged in. And essentially all it is just a solid contact. So now, instead of this piece, we'll have that piece. Well, the guy finally wrestled that in, but before we give her a go, I'm going to hook this little guy up. These are cheapy throwaway kits for me because the tubes get all stretched and kind of gross. It doesn't last forever. But anyway, this is a nice way to bleed your master if you don't want to use the fittings, flare ends, and cut some line. Basically, you can just use, there's one on the bottom there. Looks like a plastic needle. We'll undo these lines, jam that in, just curl the hoses into the reservoir. So when we pump the pedal, we're actually going to be bleeding the master cylinder itself. I want to make sure we have absolutely no air up here or in the feed lines before we start trying to bleed the rear and so on. Big thanks to Jessica for helping out with the brakes there. Let's see if we get this thing fired up and try them out here. Oh, look at that. What a cream puff. Reverse. It's definitely holding. Drive. Yeah, I mean, nothing to write home about, but they're there. And I think that's how I drove home. Some rear breakage would probably go a long ways, but what a good old car. Well, let's get this thing outside, scrub it down, throw some soap on this thing, clean it up, and then of course we got to take it for a cruise and enjoy it. My water spigot is frozen. It's 13 degrees, something like that. I ain't got no water, so we're gonna have to run this into town, which I guess is okay. Get some miles on the thing, cruise it around, shake it down again. The downside is we don't got a lot of pressure, so we're gonna have to do a lot of scrubbing. I don't know what the deal is, but these self-serve car washes, Less and less soap, less and less pressure as the years go by, but it shouldn't be frozen anyway. So we'll drive this into town, scrub it up there, and then we'll go cruise from that point. Just been enjoying the back roads here. I'm taking the long way to town. Heat's working. Who knew? I think I drove this home in the summer and never even tried probably. Radio turns on, but there's no antenna, so I can't confirm if it works. Not getting any stations and whatnot. Man, it is a crime I've let this car sit this long. It is a really nice cruiser. Drives great. It runs good, but there's still something going on with the fuel making happener. I know I didn't miss anything. I think we might have the dreaded vacuum leak on the shaft, the butterfly shaft. So there's a rod that goes across, obviously, that rotates the butterflies as you hit the throttle. And with bimetallic corrosion and years and use and miles, that wears into the case of the carburetor itself and creates a vacuum leak. And it's very random and hard to chase down. I think that's what we have going on, because I went through all the vacuum caps, replaced the PCV valves, checked the brake booster, I mean pretty much everything. And we still got something kind of wonky going on there. But other than that, this thing is driving great. Everything is working, gauges work, floats, but stings like a bee. Okay, it's not fast, but I mean, it's got a lot of horse for back in the day, and it's a big boat. But anyway, keep working my way into town here, and I think I'm going to dial me up a rebuilt or used quadrijet, see what I can find, try to get that fixed too. Look at that. Just swanged into O'Reilly and grabbed a 134 AC conversion nozzleator adapter-rooney kit thingy and some Freon. I think we're going to try to get this AC to work. Let's see if it'll kick on. Wouldn't that be something if it fired up? Wrong time of year for it, but mazel, see what we got. Okay, a few blocks away from the wash here. See if we can shine this up like a really old dull penny. All right, guys, gonna fire up the water. I'm gonna clean the tires first, and then I gotta roll the car probably backwards or something to get the other side of the wheel because it's tucked up in there and the tire. And then we'll soak the thing down, let it sit a couple minutes, and then I'll get the gray Scotch-Brite out and scrub her down pretty good. Oh, gotta roll the winders up. This one's kind of, there we go. Ah! Man, as a feller that owns a SAC record still 20 some years later as a defensive amp, I ain't getting around as good as I used to, and I almost took an unscheduled visit to the ER about 14 times. The water was freezing right as she was coming home. Look at this Buick. I got to thinking, I don't know that we ever cleaned this up. I think we crawled her home and that was it. The silver is silver, like a lot. But I did find some whiskey dents I don't know that I knew was there. This side here cleaned out a ditch. Dent, 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 dent. Dent there. Looks like a typical fence or something. Hood came around nice. This side there's no dents. We just got the weight reduction going on. There's a dent there, I guess. A lot of brown oxide primer showing. We're gonna have to do something now. We are in it. This can't sit outside anymore. I missed a spot. Some of that can get cleaned up better. But what a good looking car. For 1968, come on. Whew. Boy. You can see where some of the Riviera stuff came from. Obviously Corvette was a big inspiration there, but I'm letting the defrost dig in, get the winder taken care of, and we'll crawl this thing back home. We're about to the house, been cruising for a while. This car is running better and better the more I drive it. And it's easy to forget, it's been years, it's been sitting. It just seems odd because it's been in my own backyard, but check this out now. We kick her down. 70 allegedly, 85. It's boogieing. It's coming around big time. Let's do a 30 mph drop. Oh man, sorry about that. You fell over. The Buick's back. This thing runs strong. And this is why this car is unique. It has the higher output engine, better transmission, all of that, but it's a four-door. And that's what you get in the late 60s when the husband picks out a car for the wife. This is my very, very, very good friend and mentor's parents' car. And old timer had knee surgery, couldn't drive his 3 on the tree anymore. Said, you know what? I'm gonna go buy you a new car. And she said, yep. And he went down and snagged this thing up. Let's be honest, it was more for him, but it appealed to her, and it worked out. Car is driving really good. Just started remembering, I think I have a fuel make it happen around the shelf. I can't remember if it's from Alibaba or Temu or Jungle website or something like that, but I know I've got one. I just don't know if it has the right fuel inlet direction. Quadrajets typically are sideways, and the older style is forward. But we'll find out here. Swap that out. I think we're gonna try to get the AC working. I lost a power steering belt, and we got to do something with the paint, I think. Try to protect on this just a little bit. But what a good cruising car. Does the horn work? Horn doesn't work. Drats. With these. Okay, that really didn't make sense. Let's pretend pretend that didn't happen. The 74,000-pound four-door car allegedly just left patch longer than most two-door sport coupes I own. Seems fine. Okay, it's warmed up to about 17 degrees, so let's go see if we can fix this AC. Well, excuse the noise. The guy's got the lag burner running. Trying to survive, you know what I mean? Okay, here's my goodies. Just picked this up. Let's throw this PS belt on first. Get that done. I think I've got to move the AC compressor and the charger whirler, because this belt goes on first, or most towards the engine. Then the other belts come on. Then I think I got to rewire the compressor. We've got to pull vacuum and then refill. And hopefully the AC will kick on. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'd be really neat. If not, no big deal, but Yep, that's what we gotta do. Okay, all right, here we go. Fun, sweet. Well, the guy went ahead and been right. See how we got the charger whirler belt first, then the AC, and the farthest back would be the PS, the go left, go right machine. So, gotta loosen this and this, roll this forward, loosen this and that, roll this forward, get these belts off at least the crank pulley, and then we could slip that belt around there and up back around that guy right there. Also, I did have a fuel make it happener, and my youngest human I'm responsible for, Bentley, installed that for me. It's on the car, and this thing runs amazing. Listen to this. Guy thought she was running good before. Turns out, this old redneck still knows a thing or two about a thing or two when it comes to carburetors. It was a worn shaft on that. Thing just runs like butter. It's exhaust. I will do that. There we go. So that's all resolved. Get this power steering on. We've pretty much got the mechanicals taken care of. Man, this thing's got more belts than Hulk Hogan. I ain't kidding you. Even though I told you the order of it, I put it back together wrong. I had the belt on the outside of the water pump. Had to redo that quick. But anyway, new PS belts on it, fired it up. That works like butter. BOPC, Buick, Olds, Pontiac, Cadillac, power steering works phenomenal. They really got that right. Okay, I'm hoping this works. I have no idea if the switches in the dash, or the roller dials, I should say, work. But it looks like I just need to fix this ground that was chewed by a mouse. And this guy here, I'm just going to convert these to spades probably. I just squeeze those tangs flat and put a spade on each of these. I know obviously green's on top, ground's on bottom. We'll see if the pump kicks on. If not, we're going to evacuate the system. It's most likely going to leak, but is it worth $24 of $134 to try? I think so. It'd be really cool if it worked. Everything is here. The condenser, the dryer, all of the lines, the pump. I mean, it was an original car when it was parked, so I don't know. Let's hope. Okay. Green on top. Don't forget that. Smash these down. Clean them up a little bit. You got a bunch of oil and whatever else. And then we'll see if we can pop a fitting on this guy. sad one goes on the bottom. And then we'll take this GM connector. If these ever fail, just cut them off. And you can use a standard spade terminal, basically, which is what I'm doing here. Throw this on. So first step is we'll just fire it up. Well, let's see if there's any juice in here. I have no idea. No way. There's still compressed something or other in this system. So let's fire the car up and just see what happens if I try to turn the AC on. Okay, fire. And then temperature. Roll that down to cold. These are really cool, so as you roll them, it changes the color, obviously. We turn this to AC. Fan kicks on. Have not heard the compressor. No compressor. Nothing. Let me check the fuse, and we'll troubleshoot the wiring first before we move on to evacuating the system. Look at this. So I'm holding the clutch. It's free spinning. So the AC compressor is not engaged. There's no fuse. I just happened to come out here and look. Turn this to AC. Normally you hear a big clunk. Okay. Motor just bogged a little. I ain't stopping that. I'm not putting my hand on that one. Just to show you it's rotating. That thing is solidly engaged. How in the devil? I don't know. It's working. Let me see if I can find a thermometer gun. It's hard to say because it's so cold out. It's Lukish. I think we're still low. Let me dig around a little bit. I might have some 12 somewhere. Otherwise, I think we're still gonna have to evacuate this and convert it. But the compressor works. It's not squealing, it's not banging, it's not grinding. The wiring works, the switch works. That's incredible. Okay, so the first thing I gotta do here, if we're gonna convert this to 134, is we need to release whatever is in there into the atmosphere tank, atmospheric recycle tank, approved recycling container. And then once that's done, we're gonna pull vacuum. So any air that's trapped in that system, we're gonna pull that out. If I can find my set of things. If not, we'll pretend we did that, because listen, I have done it either and or my whole life, and equal results. Cold air. Just saying. Just saying. So let me get this recycling process done. Takes a whopping 3 minutes. And then we'll move on to convertilizing. So this is our R12 to 134A retrofit parts kit. And really all it is the oscillators and the caps. These just screw on, and they have thread sealant and the O-rings already on them. It can't be easier. Kit even comes with a sticker here, so you know the next guy knows what's going on. It was filled up by a guy in the USA on, you know, today's date, and then all you got to do is just take these fittings, and we're just gonna screw these on, tighten them up. There's one up there. Well, we got some sort of Bill Nye set up here. So we've got our gauge set. This is just the Hobo Freight Pittsburgh junk. And low pressure, I've got high pressure just so I can show you what this does. And then we got a ever kind of tough vacuum pump thing. Yellow to the pump. Whoops, that's loose. And then all you got to do is open these valves one at a time. See if I hold my thumb. It just pulls vacuum. So we're going to do that right now. Actually, we got low pressure hooked up. There you go. It's that simple. Hook up the high side, run that, and then we got to come back in and just refill it. So now we've got our juice hooked up to the low pressure side, and I'm just going to put a little bit in here, and then we're going to fire it up, turn the AC on, and what we're hoping for is that pump kicks on, starts circulating, and it's going to pull this pressure down. And then we can use this gauge accurately, figure out how many lbs of pressure we need. Let's fire it up. So even though the clutch is operating out there and we got the system full, I don't think it's operating. We can see here, I can't say definitively, but 63, 70. Yeah, it's definitely blowing cold, but it's winter. But if I can take a static measurement on the dash pad and it's more than the air coming out of the vents, that's a nay. So AC is not working, probably just needs a pump, but that's okay. I'm not gonna hold it against it. We tried. So the paint here, what do we do? Well, I know that I'm personally not going to paint this car, but someone might. I'm going to be passing the torch on this thing. And I don't want to leave it the way that it is because we've got this brown oxide primer showing. It's coming up on the tops of the doors here. And GM did black primer on the front clips, brown oxide, basically A-pillar back. There's a lot of different theories as to why. That's a discussion for another day. But anywho's, the bulk of it is on the roof here. It's pretty much all brown oxide primer, and the reason being is, I don't think I can find any to peel off for you, but this used to have a black vinyl top. So when they painted this car, they went really light on the paint because they knew this was a vinyl top car. It was going to get covered anyway. Well, the problem now is we can already see the quarter panel to roof seam. We've got some bare metal threatening to come through. There's nothing left. This is extremely, extremely thin. Another year in the sun, cruising in wherever, New Mexico, Texas, California, this is gone. We can protect that with some shine juice, but I want to try something different. I don't think we've actually ever done this on the show before. We're going to paint just the roof and see what happens. I said it. Okay? We're going to do just a flat black on the roof, just like it would have been a vinyl top. And that's going to add protection. It's going to change the look of the car. And then when that dries, we'll shine juice the rest of it. And then we know we've got some UV protection. We're protecting against the rust spreading. Whatever paint is left, we're going to seal that in, so on and so forth. Now, some of you might be going, well, sounds terrible. Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense, or this and that. But listen, I don't care. I don't. And you should have the same attitude. Never care what people think about your project. You paid for it. It's your rig. Do whatever you want to do to the thing. See what I'm saying? And anything that you do to it, if you're questioning yourself, you're at pause, you don't know, you're on rest on something, anything that you do is better than nothing. It's always an improvement. Look, we paint the roof black. I don't like it. Guess what happens? I'll go get silver tomorrow and paint it silver. See what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do here is get some 400 grit. There's a couple spots where there's just some glue, stuff like that. I'll get a Rosier Blade out. And we're just going to haphazardly tape some of this stuff off and just quickly fog some black on it. And we're going to transform the look and add some protection to this rig. I think that's about as far as I want to go. I might add exhaust, but that's down the road here a little bit. Runs great, drives great. Let's change the looks a little bit, add some protection. Blam. Ran a mop around in here a minute ago, and I think that was a bad idea. We got an ice rink. I got some low temp activator and just some cheapy Nason paint. I was thinking about clear coating it, but I don't even think we're going to take it that far. Now the Shine Juice, it's oil based, and it's going to leave a matte or satin finish once it's dried, cleaned up. So I think I'm just going to leave the paint however it is that comes out of the gun. Even if it's a flat roof and kind of a satin body, it's going to give it that contrast anyway, and I'm okay with that. And that's the great thing about Shine Juice is it's a nice temporary fix, or if that's just the look you're going for, you run it forever. But if you like the shiny stuff, you have to check out the Vice Grip Garage Wipe On Gloss Clear Coat. It's an actual automotive grade finish. It's permanent. Shine Juice is oil based and semi-permanent. That's what I'm doing to this, because someone might get this and decide to go all the way with it. No sense in them sanding off clear coat. They could just easily wipe off the Shine Juice and get to work. Going around the trim here, just cutting off the remnants of the top. And then I'll probably come in here by hand, unless I got some wind in the air compressor. Dull that up really quick. Well, we got her all masked off. I got this tape plastic stuff off the Jungle website. I didn't even know it existed. But I'll never go back to newspapers, albeit they're free. They're full of dirt and dust and everything else. So when you're spraying air and trying to paint, you're just blowing junk right back into your stuff. And this is so much faster. And you can get it, I think this is like a 5-foot sheet. You can get it like 12-inch to whatever. But anyway, this is good enough for our redneck vinyl top. Gonna mix up some paint here, we'll just blow it on. Got the leg burner running, trying to get it hot enough in here. I did get the low temp activator, but I think that starts at 60 degrees and it's nowhere near that. We're just gonna pretend. Okay? Okay. Use the Vice Grip Garage wax and grease remover, soaked down the roof, wiped it off a few times. I don't know. Sure. So the paint the guy's going to be using here is just a Nason base coat, basically. I just went to my local O'Reilly and said, give me some Dodge Viper Black. It was one of the few years where any manufacturer made like a very true black. I mean, the paint ingredients are literally just black and a little bit of white, where most have like a little bit of yellow or red or pearl or flake or whatever. It's paint code PX3. And I said, yep. And I got a little, and that's pretty much it. We're just going to throw that on. Thought about maybe doing a matte clear on it or something like that, but I think we're just going to let her buck. Listen, anything is better than that. We're just trying to preserve what's there, change the look a little bit. So let me whip that up, get it in the gun. We're just going to spray it on, 2 medium wet coats. Normally you'd start like on the bottom, work your way to the center, go around the other way, grab the wet edge, and then come back over. But it's a big car, it's taller, I need to lean on it, so I'm going to start in the center and work my way down on both sides. Not technically correct, but listen, by the time I move my stool over there, fart around with the hose, disconnect, hook up my gun again, all this and that, the wet edge basically has the same dry time between both, so I'm not really worried about it. Might be a little bit of overspray in the center of the roof, but again, it's better than that. So let's just layer down, shade tree style, see what happens. Man, I'm trying a new spray gun out, just struggling right now. I guess I'm used to the $25 ones. I finally got a halfway decent one while it's used, but I could not figure out how to dial that thing in. So anyway, we just put her on like cake icing. Just, you know what I mean? But it's there, it's black. Now keep in mind, that should dry, well, should dry flat or matte, but I have the wrong activator, I have the wrong reducer, mix ratio's off, you know, the usual. So we're going to let her sit out here for quite a while before we rip the plastic off. But as you can see, it looks already way better than the brown oxide primer. And just going to clean up the gun now, sit around and wait. But I think it's going to look pretty good. Bentley's here to help. We're ripping off all the plastic and tape. So I believe we had a failure to communicate. We started off with, I wanted a single stage flat, and we couldn't really find anything in the catalog that fit. And we worked our way through it and found that Dodge color. But I believe what ended up happening was I got a single stage Dodge color instead of a base clear. I was hoping to just spray a base. Well, that is shiny. Kind of embarrassing because I didn't spray it on like it was supposed to be shiny. And I have a ton of moisture in my lines. That poor compressor was just fighting for life, wheezing over there. About 30% water coming out. But anyway, it is shiny. We're gonna have to roll with the punches. So we're gonna get all this stuff off. And the plan is Bentley's gonna help me shine juice this thing. It's all gonna blend in, look nice. We're gonna call it quits there. So let's get all this stuff off and reveal what we got going on. Well, we got her unmasked. That does look a lot better than just primer brown, doesn't it, Bentley?
Yeah.
So he's got a can of shine juice aerosol, so do I. This stuff, I mean, it's just, you just do that. That's basically all there is to it. So do you want to start like, why don't you just take the other side and I'll just do this side. We're going to shine juice this thing down. If you're interested in trying this is oil based. You can get it at vicegripgarage.com, and you can get it in aerosol or just a can where you dip a rag in and wipe it on basically. But we're going to go around and get this done. Bentley's way ahead of me. Well, we got her juiced up. What a transformation. Old car shined up really good. This is 2 cans, but keep in mind, you know, obviously we didn't do the roof, so I'd recommend 3 cans for a car this size, but nice old looking rig. Gonna wait about 15-20 minutes and then I'll wipe off the excess shine juice. Nice looking car. Well, the Buick LeSabre is officially back and better than ever. It runs fantastic. It stops great, it handles great, it looks amazing, and all for next to nothing. Just a little bit of elbow grease, and another great example of, you know, put it together just a little bit at a time. I'm gonna enjoy this car, I can guarantee you that. This thing is definitely a go-in-town rig, and as daily driver, written all over the thing. Now stay tuned, next week, we're gonna deliver that 1968 Chevrolet Nova, but it's over 1,000 miles, all the way to, where are we going? New Jersey. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Thanks guys for watching, appreciate you so very much. We'll see you very soon. I got glass to clean. I got a little bit of overspray here and there.